Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. So those of you who don't know, I've started a new channel. So make sure you go to the new channel and subscribe. I'm keeping both the channels, by the way. So this is the one I'm going to be doing daily updates and stuff. And the new channel is going to be more detailed analysis and more high IQ discussions. So make sure you check it out, and there's lots of videos you probably haven't seen. So make sure you go to the channel. The link is in the description. So let's start with the show, guys. And let's start with this image. Can you notice three things that are wrong with this image? Three things. The first thing that is wrong with this image is you have JD Vance logging into a laptop using somebody else's ID. And you can see at the bottom, if you zoom in to this ID, it's a picture of a woman. Can you see? It's basically a picture of a woman. Looks like Laura Loomer, to be honest, but I don't think it's her, but it looks like her. So that's the first thing. The second thing wrong with this image is you have JD Vance's handler, Jared Kushner, looking at the laptop. So he's obviously the handler, and he's going to be reporting back to Netanyahu and Israel. So that's the second thing wrong with this image. The fact that, they allow this guy to be anywhere near the negotiations. Because last time we know what happened with him with the last negotiation, they started a war. This guy is not even part of the Trump administration. He's only here because he's the son-in-law, and also he reports to Israel. His loyalties are with Israel, and it's crazy that he's still involved. The third thing that I noticed is that you can see JD Vance wearing an American flag, and the guy next to him, he's from Qatar, and that's fine because Qatar is there. They're helping with their negotiations. So obviously, he's probably helping JD Vance write up the report. So the Qatari guy is wearing the Qatari badge, if you can notice. JD Vance is wearing the American flag. What is Jared Kushner wearing? He's wearing nothing. He's wearing nothing, guys. Do you know why he's wearing nothing? Because he reports to Israel. He's not going to wear the American flag because he's got no allegiance to America. But he's not going to blatantly wear the Israeli flag because people will notice. People will say, look, Israel is running the show again. So he leaves his jacket free. Let's not even talk about the really bad coffee at the background as well. I mean, these guys should be given good coffee. Why they're in the Middle East, right? And Middle East is famous for its, Middle Eastern teas. Why are they not being given Middle Eastern teas? Why are they using a coffee machine? It just makes no sense, guys. Anyway, that's four things. But yeah, I mean, these negotiations have been a joke, absolute joke. And I'll tell you one thing, guys. I've been thinking about this, and it looks like JD Vance has been set up to fail. I mean, come on. He's been sent to Switzerland to do these negotiations. And before he even starts the negotiations, President Trump is sending out tweets saying that he's going to blow up Iran, he's going to kill the Iranian delegates, they're not even going to reach home. He's sending these tweets out. So he's just setting JD Vance up to fail. And then you've seen the images and the videos coming out that how JD Vance has been ignored by by everyone. He's been made a fool out of, absolutely humiliated by Trump. they're probably doing this because I think what they want is maybe Marco Rubio to be standing for the next presidency in 2028. I think they're probably setting up JD Vance to fail, and they're going to probably push Marco Rubio to be the next prime minister. Oh, sorry, president. And I think they're doing this on purpose because everyone knows that JD Vance has been very quiet on the Iranian front during the war. This is because, this has been completely President Trump's decision and Israel's decision, and I think JD Vance has kept out of it wisely. And now they're trying to pin the blame on JD Vance. So if the negotiations do not work well, or the negotiations fail, they're going to pin the blame to JD Vance. But we know it's all Trump's fault at the end of the day, and we know it's all Israel's fault. The good news is I've heard today that Iran will add Gaza to the peace plan. That is really good news because a lot of people were asking why doesn't Iran add Gaza to the surrender of the United States? Why don't they add that to the plan? And but now they have. So this is really good news for the Palestinians. Anyway, let's talk about the badge. So talking about the badge, guys, talking about the badge, this is Mark Levin. This is Mark Levin, and he is a die-hard, Israel lover, die-hard Zio, die-hard neocon. He's pro-war, and he wouldn't send his own sons or daughters to fight in the war, by the way. But he's asking Americans to fight and die for Israel. So he's always like pushing the war. So he came to Israel and he's doing this speech in Israel. And in this speech, he basically says, "I'm not a slave to Israel. I never meet Netanyahu. I don't meet the Israeli government. I don't speak for the Israeli government." And 5 minutes later,
Just want to explain, I'm not an agent for the Israeli government. I don't meet with the Israeli government. I don't conspire with the Israeli government.
2 seconds later.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu.
did you see that, guys? Absolutely hilarious. Does he expect Americans to be this naive and this short-sighted that they cannot see what this guy is trying to do? So one thing about badges I mentioned with Jared Kushner, if you notice his jacket, it doesn't have the American badge on it. If you notice, and why is it important? Let me show you why it's important. It's important because when he's on his show, he wears a massive American badge on his shirt. You can see a massive one. He's got American flags everywhere. He's got Abraham Lincoln at the back. He's trying to show the Americans that he loves America. He's an American. But he doesn't love America. He's not an American. He's literally a slave to the J, if you know what I mean. And here he is lying to everyone's face. He says he doesn't meet with Israel. He doesn't meet with the president. He doesn't conspire with Israel. And yet 2 minutes later, he's meeting Netanyahu and he's hugging him. They obviously know each other. And where's his badge? Where's his American badge? It's gone missing. And this guy is in Israel at the moment. So when he's in Israel, he doesn't wear his badge. It just shows where his loyalties really are. And he's just lying to the Americans. He's just lying to them. He just wants them to go to war. He wants them to die for Israel. That's what he wants to do. I really hope Americans can see through this guy. Unbelievable, guys. Unbelievable. So let's talk about Mr. President Donald Trump again. So he's been getting a lot of heat lately regarding the pool. So rather than blame himself or the contractors, he basically got the National Guard to guard the pool, and now he's blaming, vandals. And you can see from these clips on May the 4th, 2026, he said that he's developing the pool and he's going to be developing the pool with very strong rubber and not even a knife can penetrate it. That's what he says. He says a knife cannot penetrate the rubber because he's paying for very expensive rubber, basically. It's the strongest in the world. And he says he tried it and a knife cannot penetrate it. It's that tough. Fast forward to yesterday, and he said some vandals came in with a knife and cut it. And apparently they've been cutting pieces off and running off with it. That's what he says. So 1 month ago, he says you cannot cut it with the knife. Now he's saying you can. Vandals have been cutting it with a knife and running off with pieces of it. But it's not true, guys, because that water is, 24. There's 24 hours security there. CCTV. Nobody's gonna start cutting it with a knife and start running off with pieces of it. Nobody. And he's got the National Guard looking after it. Obviously, really good waste of money there. And he's just lying to the American people. Just one lie after another, one lie after another. And he doesn't even want to blame himself. He doesn't want to blame the contractors. He just wants to blame a couple of vandals. And on his post, he says they're going to get 10 years if they get caught. 10 years. 10 years if they get caught, apparently. So this guy, he's put zero P's in jail, by the way. Nobody from Epstein got any prison time, or neither the names have got released. But he wants to put people for 10 years just for taking a piece of the pool, which is blue. So he's been dumping hydrogen peroxide in the pool, and that's also caused, the paint to dissolve and the pieces were coming off, and people have been taking these pieces and selling it. But they've not been cutting it. These pieces have been floating in the water because they've been dumping hydrogen peroxide in it. Just one lie after another, guys. I don't know how the Americans take it. I've also seen a story about Elon Musk. Looks like Elon Musk and is in trouble because do you remember his Doge? The Doge stuff got USAID, and he said that the fact that USAID was very dodgy, it was very corrupt. There was a lot of people making money out of it. Well, there's a senator called Ro Khanna, and he released some reports today saying that 4.5 million kids have died because of these Doge cuts. Because Doge has basically cut off US aid, and US aid goes to lots of poor countries. There's a lot of I know there's a lot of corruption in there as well. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot of corruption in there, but there's also a lot of good stuff in there as well. Doge has cut everything. They cut all of USAID, everything. So there's no money going to any poor kids around the world. There's no money going into Palestine. There's no money going into Sudan. There's no money going anywhere. It's basically been completely cut. So a report came out that 4.5 million kids have died because of the results of the Dodge cuts, and all the blame is going on to Elon Musk. So Elon Musk is having a argument with Ro Khanna online, saying, "I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you." And Ro Khanna's like, "Go ahead." But seriously, guys, what they've done is they've saved money with Doge. They've cut all these, USAID and all this stuff that they've cut. They've cut the screw worm as well. Do you remember the screw worm? They cut funding for the screw worm. And because they cut the funding, the screw worm is back in American beef. Now they're going to have to pay billions and billions to get rid of this screwworm from American beef. It's just one disaster after another, guys. And it's all down to Dodge as well. Anyway, let's move on. So China's recently hit back to US sanctions, and they've restricted around 10 companies, defense companies, and they've also restricted, selling rare earths to other companies as well. And finally, there's a country that actually hits back to the US. US is basically getting, uh, taste of their own medicine. So the US have been doing this for years, guys. Years. They've been, putting sanctions on country after country after country. Millions have died because of it. Because when you put sanctions on a country, the people suffer. Because the sanctions cover everything. They cover food, they cover medicine. So when you're sanctioning a country and somebody needs a certain medicine to live, they can't get these medicine because you're sanctioned. So people end up dying. It's the people that suffer, guys. Not the country itself, not the people running the country. It's the people. And they have been sanctioning countries throughout my lifetime for years. They've been using sanctions as a weapon, they've been using dollar as a weapon, and it's about time a country now fights back. They're getting a taste of their own medicine, and it's their own fault. Sooner or later the dollar's going to collapse because people going to have enough. They're going to have enough of dealing with the dollar, because when you deal with the dollar, they can sanction you because you have to go through Swift, and they know exactly how much dollars are going into the central bank, and so they can sanction you. They can freeze all that money. So China's not a country to be played with, and the EU wants to also sanction China as well. Well, good luck to that. I've already made a few videos about it, but yeah, good luck to the EU if they want to start sanctioning China. The EU is going to really turn into a major third world country. They've got literally no, they've got no raw materials in Europe, nothing. They are reliant on the rest of the world. They're reliant on oil, on gas, on raw materials, lithium, rare earths, you name it. They don't have any of that. Well, they have a little bit, but not enough to sustain all of Europe. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy, guys. I mean, like I said, Europe would have survived if they had their own foreign policy, if they had independence, if they had sovereignty. Then they would have survived. But no, they're basically puppets of the United States. Somebody told me that the EU was created by the CIA. So rather than, you know, controlling each country and, you know, dealing with each country, they wanted to deal with all of Europe at once. So they basically put a puppet in place like von der Leyen, and she does all the bidding for the United States. She pushes all the, foreign policies that the United States wants to the rest of the members. And that's how they control the EU. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave it for today. Leave this quite short, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care for now.